Hello, people of the internet, people of YouTube, people of whoever the hell is watching this. I got the idea today to just go through my cards and have a little fun with my camera and take some interesting pictures of my favorite cards. And I just thought this would be cool to sort of go through a lifetime of playing Magic. And I don't think this is going to be like your typical review. Like when when I say these are my favorite, these aren't necessarily like the most efficient cards, the strongest cards. It's a mix of nostalgia, their usability in each deck I make, what they mean to me, how it feels to draw them, how rewarding it is to play them. So here we go. Nothing fancy. Got 35 cards, and I'm just going through. So the first one here is Corpsejack Menace. I love this card. 4/4 for 4 converted mana cost. And on top of that already is if one or more +1/+1 counters would be placed on a creature you control twice that many. This card is a huge pain in the ass and has been for a super long time. When I think of this card, I think of my freshman, maybe like 8th grade through like freshman year. So, like Magic in the cafeteria. This was always a Dylan and Joe Kazwara card that I ended up later using once I kind of built my first good deck beyond my Goblin deck. So this has been my green-black staple forever. Love this card. Next on the list is Yavamaya Hollow. This card goes back with me as far back as it can go. I started playing Magic in like 2000, 2001, during sort of like when Magic was dying, like weak Magic. You had like Nemesis and Invasion, and it was just not looking good. Stronghold, Mercadian Masks, just really kind of weird, weak sets. Legions? Yeah. Prophecy? Not sure. Off the top of my head, but I love this card. I remember buying this in the first card shop I really went to. It was a combination of a card shop and skateboard shop on the outskirts of Western Florida, and I bought this as a kid in a card bin for 50 cents because I liked all the animals. That's really, I don't even know if I could read yet, but it's just, this is cool art. My brother's showing me this game. So I love this card. This has been with me since the beginning. And it's great. I actually don't even use it for the regenerate as much as I should. The opportunities usually just don't come up in my playstyle. I'm usually bad at leaving the mana available, but it's a great card for when I do use my brain enough to use it. Next is Ava Grove. It's an awesome card. I don't know. I've had a lot of fun with this one in a couple of decks I've made. Same black-green as the Corpsejack, but also in a Bant Enchantress deck. 2 mana, 3+1/+1 counters. If you have Corpsejack, this basically turns into 6. And my Enchantress deck, I am playing with Ephemerif Enchantress. So, that deck is built around enchantments. So that card loves to see this card all the way through. Comes into play, I end up getting a benefit for it. I've got Yavamaya Enchantress, so I get benefits for enchantments being in play. And then the Ephemerif, as soon as this is spent, you draw a card for it. So this is just an all-around great value in a game, but also just even more simple. Look at that art. I want to eat those peaches. Even if they're not peaches, they look fantastic. But I can't help but look at the bottom of those fruits and see the little thing coming out of them. Makes me wonder if it's like one of the Spike Feeder cards. Next up is the Evil Eye of Erborg. This card is the king of jank, niche-y, trying to make it happen, even if it's not supposed to happen kind of cards. I've had this card in my deck builders kit for years, and I kept throwing it in places where it didn't belong because I just wanted to see it happen. I saw potential in this card. I thought it was awesome. But it never was awesome. But I just wanted it to happen, and eventually eventually, I figured out how to make the eye deck. I could have put both the Evil Eye of Ormsbegor and the Evil Eye of Erborg on here, but I went with the Erborg because this is the one I knew about first. But it's just super cool. It's super flavorful. There's only 2 eyes, so you end up running it with Grave Shifter, the Changeling. I run this with Disciple of Erebos, I think, where it comes into play. You have to sacrifice something, but then you gain life and draw cards equal to its power. So this is also a great main phase 2 card, where if you've got your cards that you want to attack with and that you plan to sacrifice or something, you attack first, and then you put this guy out in your main phase 2, and then you figure out what to do with the rest of your guys later. So I love my eye deck. I love the Evil Eyes. I think they're a lot of fun. Next is the Wall of Nets. This was a card, I call this a Connor card, because Connor is my brother, and this is a card where I would be played against it. I don't know if that grammatically makes sense. I was playing against it. And super annoying card. Anything it blocks gets exiled. I mean, of course, if you get rid of the wall, then everything comes back, but Jesus, man. It's a 3 converted mana cost 0/7 wall that blocks 7 is so huge, man. Good luck with that. Great card. Great card. Oh, I messed up my list here. Where am I going? Alright, then I got Brain Geyser. So my main color combo that I'm playing in Magic, I make a lot of red-blue variants. And if there's anything I love to do in Magic, it's probably 3 things. Attack with all my creatures, do lots of damage, and draw lots of cards. And I mean, you got brains floating in space. It looks like, it looks like Rush is about to come out and play in some exotic time signature. Regardless, I haven't really thought about using it for the sake of making opponents draw. But you certainly can. I think most of the time, I only really play this card like I would Mind Spring. But still, I mean, floating brains in space. Can't go wrong. Chromatic Lantern. This is a card I probably wouldn't have appreciated as much when I was younger. When I was younger, I was definitely into the giant creatures. The sort of things that, like, you get enthusiastic about playing big frickin' creatures. But, as a current player, this is the ultimate, foot in the door. I love this card for how much opportunity it invites. Makes all of your lands tap to add 1 mana of any color. And that lets me pull weird lands out of the woodwork, because now they can tap for mana. You could play with Desert if you wanted to. There's so many cards, you could, I don't know why you would, but I mean, you can make Maze of Ith tap for mana. That's cool. This is just a cool card. I love how inclusive it makes the game, and if you're doing something with a weird color combo and you're a little nervous about it, if you have a couple of these, it adds a lot of confidence to what you're doing. So, Machico Condo, the Truth Seeker. She's a sneaky bitch. I love this card in my wall-based commander deck. Obviously, she's not a wall, but she might as, not that she has Defender either, but she might as well be a wall because she is a brick wall of a problem. If you're, my deck has a lot of walls in it, so it's like, okay, I'm going to attack and he's going to block. And you get used to that, because it's like, alright, he's just going to block me, giant walls, whatever. But this really mixes it up. This is a great offensive-defensive card. Like, you're being offensive by being defensive. It's a sort of passive-aggressive statement on the board. You play it and it's like, fine, bye, hit me, It's kind of a, I don't want to say it's a white version of a black card. I don't want to, it's just cool. It's got mad flavor. I like this card. I can't say bad things about it. Noogle Bandit. It's the frickin' Noogle Bandit, man. If you're up late in the middle of the night and you hear a noise walking up the steps, this is the last thing you expect it to be. The Noogle Bandit. It's just great. It's a donkey with a knife. But it's a really cool donkey with a knife. I love this in my Pauper deck. I put this in a lot of my decks. It's flexible with the mana, which is always great. It's a 2/2. It can only be blocked by creatures with Defender. So that's pretty cool. Because honestly, like low-key, people aren't... I'm not seeing a lot of walls anymore. I feel like that, like, the mentality of having walls is sort of maybe an older thing, or it's just not as popular nowadays. But this gets through a lot. And you can even put something like Curiosity on this, where you could run this with, what is it? Thieving Magpie, cards like that. What was it? There's some sort of otter in Ikoria that, when it deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card. You could easily incorporate this into that style. So, moving on. Halamar Depths. Absolutely love this card. This is one of my favorite lands. I'm pretty sure I have this in every single deck I have that uses blue mana. How can you not? Like I said, three favorite things. Attacking with creatures, doing lots of damage, and drawing cards. This is great. It comes into play, you look at the top 3, you put them back in any order. And it's a land. What happens if you bounce it back? It's great. Pride of the Clouds. Love this in my White Blue Birds deck. How freaking flavorful, man. It's like a trio of like celestial, ethereal cloud lions. And it's just cool. It's a cheap problem. Gets +1/+1 for each other creature with flying. And it's a 2-drop. This is a cheap problem. I really never use the Forecast. I think the Forecast is pretty expensive. It's not really something I ever use. But just the first 2, the flying, and, +1/+1 for each other creature with flying. It's great. Sol Ring. I almost did not put this in this list. Not because it's not good, obviously it's great, but I wanted to emphasize cards that really, really, really meant a lot to me on some level. And with me growing up with Sol Ring, this Sol Ring was probably like, around the time I would have bought this would have been probably like the sophomore, freshman year of high school kind of thing, where you didn't have all the Commander style products that were out, and there weren't a whole bunch of available reissues of Sol Ring. So you had to get like the revised ones. This could have... Actually, I take that back. I don't even think this would have been $4 or $5. That's my memory being warped by time. Back in the early 2010s, Sol Ring, I think, was like a $15 card. I remember paying like... Because my allowance at that time would have been something like, I don't know, like $10 a week. So Sol Ring is not the kind of card I would have traditionally wanted to buy. Obviously, it's a great utility card. It's one of the best utility cards, if not, up in the top 5. But I was mad that it was expensive back then. So if I'm going to put it on here, I'm always happy to draw it in a game naturally, but the revised Sol Ring all the way. Or, obviously, I wasn't going to be buying in a limited or a, But, Flaming Ring. Timeless. Crinkle Mob Boss. So, my introduction to Magic was Goblins. The 7th edition pre-constructed Goblin deck. Obviously, this, not around at the time, but me and Goblins go all the way back. Just like Yavamaya Hollow. Those are the first couple of products I even had. The Yavamaya Hollow, couple other cards. My Goblin deck. Me and Goblins are PB&J. We tight. And Krenko, for a long time I was into Magic, and then I moved, got into a new school around the time that Yu-Gi-Oh! Literally just coming out. It was like September 2002. Yu-Gi-Oh! Was the shit. It was huge. So Magic got put down for a long time, maybe like 8 years or so. And then I started getting back into it. So this was sort of like, hey, welcome back to Magic. You're picking up where you left off with Krenko Mob Boss. And maybe even that waited a little bit. I know this picture I took was an M13, but, maybe I got this later. But, cards like this were like fond kiddo memories. It's a powerful card, man. You get that shit with haste from like Goblin War Chief, or something like that. You're making problems. Moving right along. Wheel of Fortune. The one in this picture is a fake because I have my real one put away. But my revised Wheel of Fortune was a card I got from my cousin years ago. It was wild. I don't know what we were doing, but we were in the situation. He gave me a bunch of cards. He gave me, my brother, and my cousin a opened box of Fallen Empires, a ton of mixed cards, and then this was one that like I got given specifically, and I just threw it in the Goblin deck because it was red. This is not a card that young me was smart enough to understand, but I always thought it was neat. But now, of course, my friend Brandon really said one of the most impactful things about this card to me. And part of what he was saying is that this is one of the best cards in Magic. And, I was like, really? And what he hit me with was, yeah, dude, it doesn't end the turn. And he's right. This is a Soul Ring in a Mountain. That's incredible. A Soul Ring in a Mountain to get this thing out. Draw 7 new cards. Maybe you're doing something weird where you know what your opponent has. Maybe you bounce something in your opponent's hand. We're talking red-blue here. Bounce with the blue, hit him with the red. Then you've got a bunch of new ammo, and you just hit him in the face with whatever you got. Wheel of Fortune's amazing. That's actually one of the most interesting things about being a young player maturing into a more experienced player. Is if you can capture it, it's fun to look and see what you weren't paying attention to, and then seeing how becoming like a smart player when you're really like, you're not just playing the game, like you're how they say, don't work harder, work smarter. You get like that with Magic. Like when you're a kid, you play with what you like, and if it doesn't look cool, it gets put to, there's a lot of justification why good cards aren't cool. And this is a card that I'm really, is an assessment of becoming a more mature player, is figuring this one out. So, super cool. Alright, Mob Justice. This is great. 2-drop, sorcery speed, deals 1 damage to target player for each creature you control. You've heard what I've been saying about Goblins. You know exactly where this is coming from. This doesn't fit in every red deck that I make, but boy, in terms of drawing it with a fucked up board state and putting, this is like, you're cracking your knuckles when you draw this card. You're just like, all right, like, I see where this is going. Like, we're done here. And you just, bam, Mob Justice, you're fucked. So, super rewarding card to play. And it's only one set. It's just Stronghold. I don't really know why they've never reprinted this. But yeah. Moving right along, this is the least clear picture, so I apologize about that. But I do love this card, and I want to take like an artsy shot, so it is what it is. Pestilence Spirit. This card's cool as shit, man. 3 converted mana cost. 3/2. Or maybe, 3/2. Sorry, my picture's a little fucked up. It's got Menace and Death Touch. Super cool combo. and your instants and sorceries you control have Death Touch. Something, again, I'll go back to Brandon. One of the things that he's always said is when Wizards of the Coast prints the 4 damage lightning bolt, the game is officially, like, too fucked up. It's too, that is the threshold, is the 4 damage lightning bolt. Cards like this make it happen. What if you're running this with something like, obviously the names are escaping me because I can't think of everything at once, but there are lots of cards that deal 1 damage to each creature your opponent controls. And now they have Death Touch. Like, this is just such a value engine. This is such a cool card. It's such a spooky card. Menace is super rad. Why would, imagine that contract. Hey, I've got Death Touch, but if you want to deal with me, you have to block with 2 creatures. Oops, the Death Touch, Like, this is just such a cool card. I love this in a Grixis deck. That's where I love this card, is in Grixis. Moving right along. Sprite Dragon. This is a super cool card. Honestly, a lot of my favorite cards from Ikoria were the cards that were just like the regular run-of-the-mill cards. Like, it wasn't a set that super, super excited me for the rares and mythics. I thought the Triomes were awesome, but, this, Phase Dolphin, again, like the Otter, this was probably the card I was, other than the Jeskai Triome, I think this was the card I was the most enthusiastic about when Ikoria came out. Look at this brutal combo. Flying, haste. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you put a +1/+1 counter on it. Again, a Zet, man. I'm playing, with my Wizards Zet deck. I'm playing instants and sorceries all day. This is an awesome card, especially if you can get it out on like turn 2. This is one of my favorite turn 2 cards that I can think of right now. I think most people have like a list of like, what's your favorite turn 1 move that's not like land into Sol Ring. But this is a super fun turn 2 card. I love this card. I have a great memory of summer of last year, going up to my parents' lake house for the first time, new house, and it was my brother, his girlfriend Tori, and my pal Jake, and we brought a box of Ikoria up, and we did a full box draft, man. We each had 9 packs. We built crazy decks and played against each other. And you better bet I went after this one. Lightning Bolt. Moving on. Erratic Cyclops. Okay, so this is a super cool card because I know I was talking before about how I was into Magic, then I moved, fell out of Magic because I didn't really have anyone to play with, then kind of got back into it around the middle school, early high school era. Then what happened was once I went to college and came back from college, when I came back from college in 2016, I was sort of so busy with being new in my degree. I was working as a stagehand at my local theater. I was freelancing AV stuff for various companies. I didn't have the sort of attention span, or I wasn't looking at the Magic sets that were coming out. I wasn't doing any of that. So really didn't pay attention to Kaladesh or the 17, 18 Magic stuff. So then I was in Walmart with my buddy Jake, and you walk past the card section. It's Guilds of Ravnica was the set at the time, and I bought a pack because fuck it, you're in Walmart, get a pack of cards, open it in the car, it's cool. And I just thought this card was so unique, very flexible with the even though it's a converted 4, you have the 3 colorless and the red. It's a Cyclops, it's a Shaman, It's a 0/8 with trample. That's already weird off the get-go. And I love this fusion of so many things. It's a big beefcake. It's trample. It's flavorfully unique. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, it gets plus X, plus 0 till end of turn, where X is the converted card's casting cost. That's so cool. This is such a weird combination of so many things, but done in such an excellent way. This is the card that got me paying attention again. This is the card that's like, okay, all right, from now, I got to start buying packs. I'm going to pay attention to the sets as they come out. I got to get back into being a more serious card player. This is the card that woke me the hell up to paying attention to Modern and just playing the game. Getting excited for when a set comes out. So this is a great kind of Magic revival card. I'm thankful for it. All right, so next one, Crush a Worm. This is my favorite green card. This is my favorite green card, and I've only used it in a couple decks, and they were childish kiddie decks. I don't use it in any of my current decks. It's a hard card to play. Maybe in Commander I should give it a shot for how much I love it, but this is just this was a card that when I was a kid I was excited for. I got this when I was really little. A friend was like, "Here, man, take this." And I was like, "Whoa, really? This one? It's rare. You got these big problematic worms. You're playing. Look at the casting cost. You got the 6, and it has to be good. It's so expensive. That's the logic. It's so expensive. It has to be good. It's a freaking 9. I didn't even think about 9 converted mana cost. I just saw the 6 and got excited. Then you look at the flashback. It's a freaking honkin' 9. 12 total, but whoa, 3/6/6 worms, and you can play it again. And it was one of the weird cards that had little tombstone next to the name, because there was no way to know back in the day. No one told you that. Oh, that's a symbol to show you to pay attention to this card when it's in your graveyard. That's what that meant. Back, I was guessing. I was guessing. You wouldn't even think to Google it. Google it as a verb was not common. So the mentality that, oh yeah, just look it up. So, super cool card. Love this card. This is a throwback for me. Banefire. Oh man. Here's the deal. With cards like Fireball, I don't divide the damage. When I see X, I want to hit someone with X really hard. And Banefire is one of the best ways to do it, because you can't counter it. I'm not playing this thing for 3. It's not worth it for 3. I'm playing this thing for 18. I'm playing this thing for 12. Or 7. This is, I'm never playing this card for the, you're going big, you're going home. And this is a great card to commit to that with. Alright, Devil's Play. Perfect transition from Banefire. I often play them together, actually. Devil's Play is awesome, man. You get the rebound. You do the Devil's Play for the Devil's Play thing. Maybe you're not ready. Maybe you got this anticipating that you were going to hit someone with it, but then they played a problem card. So you just play from your graveyard later. Or you need a card in your hand to discard. And you're just totally, thrill of possibilities. I need cards right now. No problem, Devil's Play. I'll see you a little later in the game. Great card. I absolutely love this card. I actually like this more than Banefire, and it's been there for me longer than Banefire has. And that's also a thing with cards in me is, what cards have been there for you? A lot of there's a lot of awesome cards out there, but some of them are unobtainable. Or some of them it's oh man, I've always, these are, I'm a big fan of the underdog cards that are available for you, and they're working for you now. You can always, get the better card later, but these guys were here for you first. So I love Devil's Play. Goblin King. I think I like the art. I don't know which art I like better, the Just for Meyer or the Ron Spears. Man, this card is dirty. This card is, if you look down by the power and toughness, it's scotch taped. There's crap all over this. This was a pre-sleeve mentality. This was a kid playing with goblins. You know what's funny about me and goblins? You know why I picked goblins first? Pick goblins. Here's why you pick goblins. When I was a kid, and now, but when you're a kid, your mechanisms of negotiation and items of logic and reasoning are they're pretty malleable, paper thin, gummy, stretchable. So goblins were the red cards, my favorite color, and they all had G in them, which is my favorite letter, obviously the first letter of my name. So what a combo, red and G. Won my way to my heart. And you have the king. This is the king of the goblins. Man, love it. And also, looking back with, 2021 vision, land walking has really gone away. Land walking is not really a thing anymore. So it's cool to play cards like this. I don't know, man. I love the Goblin King. One of my favorite cards ever. It's always been there for me. Winter Orb. Oh, look at it. It's horrible. You got you got this big pissed off bear. He looks like he just fucked up something. And you got his little peon of a fella in the background. He's like toady. He's like a toady polar bear just handing what's going on, guys? Everyone got Bud Light? And he's barking at this levitating orb. The richness of the dark blue. I love the pink in the snow. When you look at the snow, the pink is the most interesting part. It's like this neon pink, post-gourd scene. And this is a truly terrifying card, both art style and to play against. How about a game to piss off your friends? Turn 1, land into Soul Ring into Winter Orb. That's making enemies fast. This was a card I love to throw in my Goblin deck, because once you get, the Goblin King out, or a couple Goblin Fodders, or a couple of anythings, you can run a Goblin deck on 3 mana and win. It's not hard. You can do it. So this was a great card to throw into my Goblin deck and really just have fun being aggressive and pissing the shit out of everybody. Moving right along. Goblin Electromancer. I love this. Come on. It's a Zet. It's a 2/2 for 2 converted mana. Instants and sorceries cost 1 less to cast. It's both a goblin and a wizard. This is one of the ultimate Zet cards. I love this. Love this card. Lightning Dragon. This goes in the classic Garrett Club. This is totally one of the cards that I got when I was a kid. Because again, Lightning Dragon. You have little gold gears for the set symbol. You got the red, and you got the G, and you got the big critter that you're excited to play. Awesome. This is one of the cards I've had forever. Got it when I was a tiny little kid. I don't really use it anymore. Although you could. This is actually a really cool card. Especially with something where you're playing with Bedlam, and you're playing with a lot of haste. This is a great wham bam thank you ma'am card. 4/4 for 4, flying in the air. It's pumpable. Great card. Fun card. Super nostalgic card. Love it. Suchi. Oh man, Suchi. Suchi embodies so many things for me. It's a wise card. It's a value engine. It's a mysterious card. I love the artwork. The artwork is so reflective of a this is 90s fantasy looking at cards like that. Look at you got the brain inside of this wavy cave? Is it metal? Is it coral? Is it a snake wearing a cloak? Is it a big mouth? Is it light? Or is it goo coming out of this mouth? Is it an insect? Like, it's such a mysterious looking card. I love it for that mystery factor. And I love the 4/4 for 4. Big thing, big filter is it boltable? Can you kill a lightning bolt? And no. I love running this in my Rakdos egg style deck, where it's Cathodians and Suchis, and the idea is that you're blowing them up and then using all the mana, for your Banefire, your Devil's Play. You're running this with Ashnod's Altar. You're running this with Priest of Yawgmoth. I actually, a lot of what got me to pay attention to this card is two things. Sushi in the last couple of years has become one of my favorite foods. So the idea that there's a card called Suchi, I immediately, upon really thinking about this card, I was like, okay, this is winning some major flavor points for me. I have to make a deck called Sushi with Suchi. And I was just kind of searching, figuring out how to use Suchi. And I came across a great light-hearted video from Open Boosters about how to use Suchi in an old-school Magic context. And he was talking about running it in either a red-black or a blue-black or I forget exactly but either you're using it as a value engine to do lots of damage upon sacrificing, or you're using it as a value engine to make your opponent draw a lot of cards. And his video really got me to see that's like, hell yeah, dude, this is a fun, old-school card. So I love Suchi. I love this card. This is one of my kind of recent favorite cards. Hell yeah. Alright, here we go. The great combos, man. We're talking the red. We're talking the dragon. We're talking the wizard. It flies. It does damage. It draws you cards. I love this card. Niv Mizzet is the shit. The part that bothers me about this card and makes it really hard for me to use is I haven't really totally figured out the play styles where I can cheat it out, or having the 3 blue and the 3 red at the same time is just hard. It's made to be hard, and that's okay. That's just part of the deal. But man, do I love this card. You can't counter it. It flies. It does all 3. It's a heavy hitter. It does damage. It's rewarding me for playing instants and sorceries. There's drawing involved. It's, again, Guilds of Ravnica. Unless I'm an idiot and this is from Ravnica Allegiance. I really didn't do my homework on this one. But, dude, I freaking love this. This is one of my favorite multicolor cards ever. Great card. Love this thing. Alright, so Crossus, which is probably not how you... Crosus? C-R-O... Crosus? Yeah, alright, so I'm just going to say Crosus the Purger. This is a card that I remember from way back in the day. There are a lot of cards that are in a mental list that I consider to be Connor cards, Connor being my brother. This is a Connor card. I never played with it. I really don't play with it now, but I permanently associate this with him. This was one of the cards that would have been in his rare box, and this was a card that was like mysterious to me. And it's cool as shit, man. It kind of looks like the metal shark from James and the Giant Peach with that face. It's a big dragon. There's lightning going on. And I don't know. When I think of this card, I think of a particular summer night in Florida where there was heat. I remember the heat lightning is one of the most beautiful parts about Florida. If you're in Florida, living down there, or you're wondering what it's like to live down there, not often talked about, but one of the most beautiful parts is the heat lightning. And there's a particular night where we were setting off fireworks in the backyard while the heat lightning was going off, and this just brings me right backed that night. I don't even know if Magic had anything to do with it, but this is cool. Whenever deals combat damage to a player, you can pay 3. If you do choose color, you reveal all the color. You reveal the hand and discard all cards from it of that color, which that's cool. I mean, the less color someone's playing, the more brutal this is. Like, this is a cool card. I've just never really thought to use it. So yeah, man. Moving right along. Cryptic Gateway. This is one of the cards that is in that super early Magic period club. Lightning Dragon, Yavamaya Hollow, Cryptic Gateway. These are all cards that would have been bought at the same time from the same comic shop, based on how cool they are looking, how cool looking they are, and you got the G. It's a rare. I love the rare cards because in my little mind, those were better. If it's rare, it's got to be good. It's better. It's rare. There's a Stronghold. No, what was the one with? This is like a spider. Judgment. Judgment was the scale. Well. Oh well, beat me up in the comment section. But yeah, man, it's this big creepy gold doorway. Just spooky looking. I don't know. I was really drawn to this card as a kid. I haven't used it very much. I've tried to use it. Haven't really figured out the best application, but I love it, man. It's a cool card. Noble Benefactor. This is one of my favorite cards because I think one of the most important parts of Magic is being humble enough to admit that, sometimes it's okay to help your opponent, and sometimes a lot of the time, winning is often not the best part of the game, but having a fun, unique game. And this is one of those cards that really opens it up to everybody. It's like, all right, guys, here's the Noble Benefactor. I'm going to hit you with it. You're either going to take it, or you're going to kill it, and we're all going to look for the cards that we want. Like, this is one, like, as soon as I play, I know that everyone that reads this has already thought of the card that they're going to pull. And I love that, because I know the card that I'm going to pull, so everyone knows the card that they're going to pull, and here's the fuse to do it. This is kind of like, all right, once the Benefactor dies, move into big boy Magic. And, the big games are coming out. So, I love Noble Benefactor. Whenever you draw it, it's a party. It's the fuse for a party. So, great card. Great feel-good card. Reinforcements. This was a card I stumbled upon and immediately wondered why it was not more popular. 1 white, instant speed. Put up to 3 target creature cards from your graveyard on top of your library in any order. That's amazing. 3 cards from your graveyard. It's a single color, instant speed. This is awesome. I don't know why this isn't more talked about. This is just a super cool card. I don't know. This is awesome. This always fascinated me. Like, there are some reprints of it too. It's not like Mob Justice where it's just the one. There are some reprints of Reinforcements, but I just don't understand why I don't hear about this more highly referred to. I don't know. I love this card. Reinforcements is great. Tricky Charm. This is another card that I think is super awesome. I'm sure there's better cards that do the same thing or do better versions of these things. But, little weird instant speed 1-drop common. Look at the utility on this thing, man. You target creature gains flying until end of turn. Target creature becomes the creature type of your choice until end of turn. Which, honestly, I underused both of these. I mainly use this for the last one. Look at the top 4 cards of your library and put them back in any order. I don't know. Trickery Charm is cool, man. That's the shit. Look, and it's like this mysterious clam. All this water in the background. Hell yeah, spooky space clam. Whatever you got going on. Alright. And the very last card in this video. This might be one of my. This might. I don't know with such certainty that this is my favorite blue card. But I love this. Is probably in the top 5. I love Dream Cache. It's not even that amazing. I just love this card. 3 converted mana cost. 2 of the 3 is very flexible. The blue and then the other 2. Sorcery speed, very cool. This is one where it's a little expensive, but you're getting exactly what you pay for. Obviously, could I have put Brainstorm on this list? Of course I could have. I love Brainstorm. Could I have put Ponder? Could I have put Preordain? Could I have put, what's the other one? Opt. Yeah, I could have put any of them, but this is the one that I like. This is my flavor card, Like, eat your veggies during the week. This is what you go for on the weekend. Draw 3 cards. Choose 2 cards from your hand and put them either on the top or the bottom of your library. You're paying 3 mana for this thing. And there's no cheating. It's on your turn. It's a sorcery. So unless you got flash or something, no discount, no coupon. It's kind of like buying, like, salt. Salt is never going on sale at the supermarket. It's just one of those, you're getting exactly what you pay for. It is what it is. But it's just great as it is. Meat and potatoes. No need to change it. If you wanted to make this an instant, I'd be your best friend. But, yeah, dude, Dream Cache. And look at this dude. I want to be this dude. He's got the big glass of milk or water. I mean, it's white. Obviously, it's it's probably water splashed onto the mug, but that could be milk. You got the gold. You're dreaming about what this guy. This guy's dreaming like, oh man, I'm a fucking peasant, and only if I had all this treasure and shit, he'd buy anything he wants. He's dreaming in La La Land. I want to be this dude with my big glass of milk and the gold and shit. He's chilling like a villain, and yeah. So that is the end of this video. If you watched the whole thing, I hope you had a great time. Yeah, I don't know. Again, this isn't really scripted, so like I said, there's a lot of these cards that's like, why is this your favorite? Or like, there's a better version of this, or whatever. These are just my favorites, and I love these. I'm always happy to play these cards. So, alright, have a great rest of your day. Bye.